So St. Mary's provides liberal arts education in the Catholic intellectual tradition. What does that mean? Well, the liberal arts traditionally means the kind of education that is fitting to free a person. The very name liberal implies that it's the education that frees you. How does it free you? It frees the student from the provincialism of their own time. It exposes them to the best that's been thought and said, all of the great traditions of the past. And it gives the student the opportunity, once they receive that kind of education, to be able to see things in perspective, to judge rightly the relative value of things, to be able to make arguments that are cogent and convincing, to be able to articulate thoughts in such a way that people can understand what they're trying to say and then counter it with their own argument.
Our average class size stays generally below about 25 students, so it's a very good relationship our teachers are able to cultivate with their students. I myself, as the principal, pride myself on the idea that I too get to know who each student is by name.
The best part of my job is standing in the hallways and saying hello to each student, getting to know them, making them feel like they belong the way I felt like I belonged when I was here.
I'm passionate about St. Mary's High School and the schools of St. Mary's. All three of my children went to St. Mary's Elementary School and St. Mary's High School. Each of them is a very different learner, and I can say without hesitation that St. Mary's High School did great things for all three of them.
The one thing that I really appreciated when I came to the school was the fact that they said hellos and thank yous as they entered and left the classroom. So just general, respectful, gestures like that, I think it really livens the whole environment of the classroom. And the fact that they have that sort of respect really gets me really going and gets me really passionate about what I have to do just to teach. I don't have to worry about behavior issues.
In a school such as ours, we have attention paid to the intellectual formation, the various subject matter disciplines of the students, and a broad liberal arts focus, while at the same time having a strong focus on their moral development, their character development, good moral habits, virtues as they're called.
St. Mary's, as this Catholic, academic, and cheerful institution, really looks to educate the entire person.
We're forming young minds. We're spending a lot of time with these kids as they're going through adolescence, from literally being children in 8th grade to being young adults by the time that they graduate from this high school. And we spend more time with them perhaps than family members. So we have a very big responsibility that we take seriously here at St. Mary's, and we're just trying to form them academically, spiritually, emotionally, and getting them ready for the world.
I've been fortunate enough to have been teaching here for about 15 years. Many of my students I'm still in contact with. They grow up, they become successful, and it's very nice. It's wonderful to see them. It is just truly wonderful to still be in touch with them, to have them visit, to reach out to them. It is, and to see them blossom and grow and just continue on their paths is one of the best parts about teaching and the best parts about the school.
The fact that this school has AP programs and Regents programs which holds its standards to the state and the AP advancement programs. Furthermore, I think when it comes to Catholic education, one of the things that I really appreciated is the Sodality program. And there we discussed many different concepts in the Catholic faith and about scripture, and we got a lot of great insights from the students.
I think if you came to St. Mary's, you would see young people who are developing good manners and are developing a concern for life outside their own narrow concerns, life for others. And so what you might see in everyday life would be students saying please and thank you, or students reaching out to other students to help them in little ways, in acts of generosity. So for example, something as simple as in the lunchroom, how people behave toward their fellows when they maybe forget their lunch or they don't have something to drink. And these sorts of interactions, there are thousands of them that occur during the course of any given day.
This was my home for 4 years when I went to high school here, and it's my home now, and I can't imagine working or being anywhere else.
The person is able to grow, in all of the disciplines that they need, not just their mind, but in their hearts and their souls.
Catholic education in particular is superior. It offers something that you can't find anywhere else. St. Mary's is a place where, and this is my line that I have used for years, but it's because I believe in it, is that nobody at St. Mary's falls through the cracks. And the teachers get to know every single child, and they make it their mission to know every single child and what their needs are.
Because they got the whole package. I gesticulate wildly in class too. It's the whole thing, the whole package. They have friends that they make here who will help them when they get out there. The faculty, the academics, so they will have the knowledge to then go and do whatever they want to do, be doctors or lawyers or whatever it is that will carry them into the next academic stage, in addition to having the faith part, because that's a big part, right? So they are going to take that with them. Now, the faith, being able to trust that God's timing is good timing, and that whatever obstacles they are going to face, they can overcome them.
I think what we're doing is we're preparing young children for the world, wherever that might be, whatever in terms that they want to focus in academically, whether it's for future professors, future scientists, future doctors, future lawyers. So we're preparing them that way, but we'll also give them the spiritual food, the spiritual component that they desperately need.
So the task of St. Mary's Preparatory School is literally to prepare people for their professions. The really specialized training comes later in college or even graduate school, where people go on to law or business or medicine or engineering or what have you. But the real foundational education takes place at the elementary and the secondary levels, and that's where the foundation stones, the building blocks, so to speak, of a truly human liberal arts education are laid. And of course, we're a Catholic institution, so it's very important that we maintain our liberal arts education is in the Catholic intellectual tradition.
Prepare our students by looking to challenge our students as best we can. The idea of the rising tide raises all ships. So we've recently updated as we moved to this strong liberal arts curriculum, we now, over the past, I believe it's 2 years, everyone is committed to 4 years of the 5 core subjects. So that's 4 years of math, science, English language, and history. Which is not something that all of our other schools commit to. It's not always seen that way. We have felt that that's something very important, that our students walk away with that experience. Concretely, example like in math, we want everyone to walk away with exposure to at least pre-calculus. In science, all of our students will take a physics course. So we're really looking to increase the rigor of the coursework for our students, and we've been seeing that certainly bear fruit in terms of their achievement.
Because of our rigor and because of all the things that we're doing in the academic programs, there's a lot of scholarships available and that our students take advantage of. And because of the rigor, and colleges see that, a lot of the higher level colleges would give acceptances to our students.
This year, if we were to look at a 5-year history, we've not only more than doubled the percentage of students who achieve that 3 or higher, we are now above both state and national averages for students who achieve a 3 or higher on that AP exam, to me, which validates seeing the academic rigor and the accomplishment as well.
I tell them at the beginning of class, now that we're getting closer to the AP exam, that we're going to get 5s. And I know we're going to get 5s because I know these kids and I know what they're capable of. So the academic rigor side of things is that the course is challenging. We delve into biology and it's really a lot. That's what I have my degrees in. So we are going, at 200% right now in order to finish the material before the course is over. And So I know that academically they're going to do fine, and that will set them up then to doing well in college because they already have good practices in place.
I think one of the things that makes St. Mary's unique is we have a very student-centered program. I see that in various facets. I see it in, we offer a strong core Catholic liberal arts education. The students have a fair amount of choice when it comes to things like AP courses and college level courses. Opportunities for AP courses begin as soon as sophomore year for our students. So our students who take AP World History are only halfway through high school and potentially have already acquired college credit.
From the point of view of a parent, if you're going to make an investment in your child's education, you want to see some kind of concrete outcome. And most often that takes the form of the kind of post-secondary education they have available to them. So in terms of St. Mary's abilities in that area, we've had stellar record in getting people into some of the most selective universities in the country.
Last year's graduating class, they amassed over $20 million in college scholarships, but their college placement of my 21 years in Catholic education and working at some fairly competitive schools, it was the best placement across the board I've ever seen, because it wasn't, the schools I'll start rattling off, so Cornell, Princeton, Duke, Northwestern, you know, these are highly competitive institutions. I mean, NYU in the city, I know I'm missing schools in here, there was just so many, they were so successful. It was different students making these schools. It wasn't one individual who made all these competitive colleges. It was a number of different students. Students accepted to 8-year BA/MD programs. So it was really a very impressive achievement by our seniors last year.
Colleges look for well-rounded individuals, and they, especially in our time, they're looking for people who know how to be well-mannered, people who know how to treat other people. And not out of a sense of sort of wanting to look good, but out of a deep conviction and a deep virtue that understands that's the way to be the best human being you can be.
Obviously, character with Catholic first, but character formation that we're seeing, so that as our students learn more and more about our core Catholic values, when they are out in the real world, they're thinking to treat people with respect. They're thinking to, you know, embody the virtues that we teach them, and really it gives me hope for the future when I see these good things.
They've shown me, and the faculty has shown me how big their hearts are and how caring they are. And that's the kind of characteristic we like to put into the kids and to really characterize ourselves with and to demonstrate with.
I take the opportunity when I can to elevate a student. So if I know there's a student who may have been facing some challenges, whether it's in the classroom or in the halls and such, sometimes when I go in and I'm observing a class, I might notice a young lady who I know hasn't always been at her best, and I notice that she's doing very well in her world history class or her theology class. So I'll take that opportunity to shoot her an email to let her know I saw what a great job she did and how proud I am of her.
While the students are getting a great education, they're also learning about God, they're learning about community, they're learning how to be good people to their peers, to their elders, to the community at large.
I know it's a different level for the students. It's the principal. He not only knows my name, but he's seeing this piece of me. And I know how important it is to elevate all of our students. And yes, of course, our student who scores a 5 on 3 AP exams, I'm going to find that young person and say what a great job he or she did. But I think it's equally important to take our other students who need to be pulled up, as I referenced, and let them know when I see them do good things, and whether that's academic achievement, whether that's good deeds and character formation and participating in student retreats or in service projects. I look to show them something very direct and personal that I've observed about them.
I mean, in society today, we see all of these distractions that are being thrown at students. We see all these things that are pulling them away and telling them that, you know, giving them an alternative to faith. But here, what we try to do is recenter them in that faith, and, you know, lay that foundation of faith, so that once that is set and once that is sturdy, we can build upon that.
And then we also have the chance for the class to go to Mass at different times during the year and celebrate the Eucharist.
we pray before every game. We say a quick prayer at halftime, and at the end of the game, we pray that everybody's healthy and everybody competes hard and fairly as well.
I think Catholic education provides both the academics and the moral teachings of the Catholic faith, and I think it really enhances the student overall into giving a wholesome education.
But I feel like the way that we propose faith to our students is very relatable. It's not something that is far-reaching or foreign, where sometimes, maybe not every day Catholics, but someone goes into a church and they're not entirely sure what to do, or they feel a lot of pressure and it's a little stressful, intimidating. I feel like that is not what we offer to our students, where the faith is relatable.
In a school such as ours, we have not only the availability of well-formed teachers, both in their subject matter and in terms of their example by way of character, we also have the availability of the sacraments. We have the availability, for example, of weekly confession, adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, Mass. These are all avenues for the students to grow in the life of grace. And they understand that without that growth in the life of grace, they're going to be incomplete persons, and they won't be able to have the wherewithal to offer themselves by way of service to other people.
One of the things we have here is sodality, and it is when a faculty member meets with their advisees, and it's separated into boys and girls, and we talk about a particular virtue. So the benefits to that, I think, are extensive. The students have the opportunity to read and reflect on Scripture, in addition to talking about religion and the virtues in a more casual setting, almost without the pressure of being in church or during Mass, where they can talk about it colloquially with their peers and about how all of the virtues kind of are far-reaching and all interconnected.
Moral framework that that's part of this Catholic education that we get here. You're surrounded by like-minded people, and some that aren't so like-minded, that challenge you to think differently, to think critically, and just the friendships blossom.
In the Catholic view, service flows from the interior life, the life of grace, the life of love for God. That's where that service comes from. Without that, the service becomes merely a kind of deracinated social work. And that's not necessarily in itself a totally bad thing, but it's not a holistic thing. It's one of the things that a true Catholic education gives to the students is a development. It's a cliche, the whole person, but it's really true in Catholic schools. We do approach the whole person.
Interact with the students here, and you see what they're looking for, and you see those questions that they're asking, and the ability to provide them an answer for that. Not just an answer to a specific question, but an answer that is a way of life, an answer that transforms their life, and seeing the happiness that brings to them, seeing the joy that brings to them, seeing the hope that brings to them, is something that, as educators, it's what we hope for.
Nowadays in this generation, it's all about blaming somebody else and all about what I want. But here it's different. It's all about what I can do to give. And a lot of times, the whole school, teaches those values. And I see that in the students. There's a lot of joy and there's a lot of selflessness that I really don't see in other schools, but here I see that all the time. It's something natural to them.
For instance, the virtue was faith. And then we challenged the students to go out and do something that is faith-based. So either offering support to somebody, or believing in themselves that they can do a hard thing, or applying it to religion and continuing to embrace God even though we can't see it.
And what I tell a lot of my students, that whatever they decide to do professionally, whatever it's lawyer, doctor, at some point there are limitations to their professional development. Their spiritual formation is ongoing, beyond the grave. And that's key. So our relationship with Christ really should be the bedrock of everybody's goal. in terms of that development and continuing ongoing. And we provide that here at St. Mary's. It's a priority here. And it's a price, and the goal is once they leave here, they'll continue with the faith.
I was asking, you know, what's the point of the prodigal son? And they told me that the prodigal son is us, it represents us, and the father, the loving father, represents God. And the fact that they could come up with that insight, you know, really, I really appreciate it. And you know, they teach me things, you know, and they really have these insights that go beyond, you know, what I expect. That really impressed me about them.
Yeah, so I mean, winning is very important. We want to win here at St. Mary's, but it's not the most important thing. It's not the only thing. What is important is to play hard, to give it all, to give it your best, to leave it all out on the field, and to respect your opponent and not try to hurt anybody. And you know, especially we play in the Catholic League here. There are other Catholics. We also play public schools as well. So it applies to the public schools as well. But we're Catholics. We're Catholics first, and our faith is first and foremost. And so we want to win, but at the end of the day, we all want to play fair, and we all want to go home healthy. But both our players, our athletes, and our opponents.
Well, there's extra programs, there's extra costs that have come into account, especially with COVID, that we have extra costs for cleaning and for masks and personal protection gear, things like that, that we didn't have before, that we now have to cover for the protection of the students and teachers and faculty.
After a big hit by a defenseman and a player went down, and there was concern whether or not this player would be okay when he got up, you know, everybody claps, and my player went right over to him and shook his hand and, you know, and said, you know, I hope that you're okay. Went over to the coach of the other team and actually apologized and said, Coach, I wasn't looking to hurt anybody. I thought I made a good, clean, legal hit. I just hope your player's going to be okay.
Well, the problem with tuition is that we all know, especially in a private school, private Catholic school, that tuition doesn't even cover the cost of educating a student, especially in a school that gives a superior educational experience that St. Mary's does. A lot of resources go into educating the students, and all you have to do is compare the cost of educating a student on your local school board budget to what St. Mary's charges for tuition, and you know immediately that the tuition doesn't cover the cost of running an operation like this.
Giving back to the school, connects you back to the students and where you were, and to the students of today, and to allow it to grow, to allow it to continue, to inform students and to encourage them and to be part of this community. It's essential for their success, the school's success.
So we don't get funding from the state or the government, so this is tuition based. So any support that is given to us will go to helping educate these kids in a better way, such as with technology, in our sports program, anything that can enhance the building aesthetically, I believe is beneficial to the student.
If 5,000 alumni at St. Mary's can give $200 a year, then we have $1 million, which is far more than if 5 people give $5,000.
Mathematics as well as other subject areas, the textbook really doesn't last that long anymore before we have new textbooks coming out. So a textbook that's over 5 years old is really a textbook that you need to update and renew. Even technology, Chromebooks, iPads, things like that, if you change that technology after 4 years, you need new technology to bring into the classroom. Okay, I use a Promethean board in my classroom, so smart boards used to be the technology that was used, and now a Promethean board is in the classroom. So we're trying to get those in every classroom so that students can better connect with the teacher and the course that is there.
From alumni is critical. The school, so much has changed from when I was here, but all for the better. I mean, the school just keeps investing in technology, in programs for the kids to really stretch outside their comfort zones. And I just feel it's very important to continue to invest in the school so that these programs can continue.
Participation in a fund can become infectious. When people love the school, they are willing to step up.
Catholic schools are becoming a thing in the past in many communities. And I'm a product of the Catholic school system. Elementary schools Catholic, high school Catholic, college Catholic, graduate school Catholic. It's important, it's who I am. And if we don't come together and pool our resources to really make sure that these schools don't close, we're going to have a serious issue.
Friends within the school and family within the school are modeling and contributing a reasonable amount, then others will do so.
You know, there's a lot of need for sports programs to grow, a lot of need for schools to provide for their students in various ways, academics, whether it be academics, sports, or various after-school programs. And it takes a lot of funding. And in order for us to continue providing these educational opportunities, we need support.
Unfortunately, we don't have the money that our real estate taxes pay to school districts to just to have to cover all of the expenses. I think in our locally here, I bet you taxes are probably $15,000-$20,000 on average. And our tuition's about $12,000. Imagine what we could do with that type of money for our students. The same way that parents make a sacrifice in terms of sending their students here, we don't want the students to be to face a sacrifice from a lack of funds.
Well, you'd want to give back to other students that they might have the opportunity to come to St. Mary's and have that same experience or even a better experience than you had at St. Mary's by giving them that opportunity. And not every student's going to have that opportunity. They might need some help financially, or even the school needs to help financially continue the programs that they've been giving. So it's important to give back to the school for that reason.
In considering supporting the institution, further support will allow us to do a lot of wonderful things on our campus. We are already doing a great job here with our athletic programs and the students' academic achievement, but through further financial support, there would be opportunities to strengthen all of those programs. We have an athletic field that's in need of a major upgrade that we certainly would love to do, that would allow for greater presentation to our competitors and potential for involvement with our alumni and such sorts of things. Our buildings are wonderful, but our buildings are, 70 plus years old in some instances. So there's certainly, internal renovations that would be valuable to us. We have a fantastic theater program, so the ability to upgrade what we do in our auditorium, which would further allow for usage even outside of the students, and opportunities for alumni events to take place in the auditorium, potentially professional organizations to come in to gather groups of business alums, lawyers, things of that nature, are some of the things that we think would be valuable. Technology in our classrooms, looking to have more of the most up-to-date digital boards available for our teachers to use, and things of that nature would go a long way. And potential renovations to other sections of the building that would allow us to create multi-use spaces that could be used for presentations for students, for alumni gatherings, and things of that nature are some of the things we think about for alumni support.
And now, say that and not give me the benefit of that.
Okay.
Because when they hear that, they're like, okay, everybody needs that. But then say, because with that.
Okay. Because with renovation of space within the building that may allow for gatherings leaves us the opportunity to potentially bring in alumni or professionals who can speak to our students about specific career fields. So if we have a presenter who's coming in to speak to us about media, having the ability to have a space to meet with that individual, or perhaps the technology for that individual to demonstrate what one does in media. In terms of a multi-use space, it's valuable for our alums. I think about, we have these wonderful night lacrosse and night soccer games. Wouldn't it be great to have our space separate from field side for our alumni kind of gather by themselves, enjoy a game and things of that nature. Again, that auditorium, if we had a better auditorium with easier access, we could potentially have an elevator to facilitate access for all individuals. provide air conditioning that allows use over the summer. Our summer programs do a great job, but we're very much limited to that field right now. If we have an air conditioned indoors, it's the ability to offer a summer program in theater, a summer program in STEM, summer programs in the arts. But that's what we're facing with our competitors, so we have to be offering the same quality. I know we have the quality in the individuals, we need the quality in the space.
It's important for you to create a space that as you move on and graduate from St. Mary, the next person who comes is also going to benefit from St. Mary's as well. And it's more than theology. I think it's who we are as a country. You know, my parents immigrated here from another country. I'm in a better situation because of the people before me. And that cycle is sort of similar. So as you receive your education from St. Mary's, you graduate, it's important that you continue to give back for those who come behind you.
The world is about stewardship, but in particular, the Catholic teaching is one of stewardship. And so I think from that perspective, we as parents, people as alumni who have had the benefit of this education, should be willing to engage in stewardship and carry the school, you know, into the next generation.
I'm an alumni, I'm a parent of 2 students in the elementary school, and this is my career. And I believe St. Mary's not only is a school, but it's a community where people portray kindness, where they look out for each other, where there's a sense of belonging. And I am so proud and feel so privileged every day to come here and work and to be a part of this faculty and to get to know the students.
Ethical and moral framework that they learn here really gives them a compass to live the rest of their lives and to make a difference.
When a student feels like they belong to a family, a community, they build up their confidence, and then they take that confidence with them to college. And then they hope that they remember us and they look back on it fondly. Like I said, like I went here, I had the best experience, and now I'm back because I believe this place is my home and I can't imagine working anywhere else.
The Catholic school is giving them an opportunity for the growth mindset and a Catholic tradition that they're going to be out, not to just to get into a good college and get a good job, but to be a good person in that good college and in that good job, is that they're taking the values of Jesus and the preachings of Jesus into the world, and by us proclaiming it here, we're giving them that foundation to bring that out into the world.
Every little bit helps. You know, the more people participate, the more the good feelings come. The more the sense of community grows. It's nice to open up the donor book and see lots of names there. Regardless if you're giving $25, $100, $500, or $1,000. To see that list in terms of, to see the growth in participation is heartwarming, not just to the students, but to the faculty here, that we're supported by those who we've taught in the past, and that, it's, reaffirming, and it reaffirms everyone.
Growing these students with both academics and the Catholic faith allows the world to be a better place because, it makes better people. And when we project better people out there, I think it allows different environments to flourish.
Education really is about helping our students to be formed and to form themselves in moral and intellectual virtue, so that with the development of their talents and with their ability to go out into the world and have something of real substance to offer their fellow human beings, that they will grow into their humanity, they will develop into full, happy human beings who can, in fact, make a contribution to their town, their city, their country, become good professionals, become the good mothers and fathers of the future, become the friends and the people that are going to lead our society into the future.
Here, we're responding to a world that has a lot of new challenges. And with these new challenges, we're forced to come up with new solutions and new ways to address these challenges. So I think what we're trying to do here at St. Mary's is respond to these problems, these challenges that the children and the students are facing, but doing it by relying on what has worked for thousands of years, right? The message of the gospel. that message of love and hope that Christ himself gives to us. So by relying on that gospel and by falling back on our foundation in Christ, we can look toward the future, and we can look toward building up the community of faith that we have here at St. Mary's.